Hi, tonight I'm going to show you how to sew or to pre-pleat a lining credit card holder. Okay, so you take your lining for your bag, the same width as your regular lining, but you're going to add 13 inches to it for a 4-pocket credit card holder. If your bag's wide, of course, it can be 8 or 12, depends on how wide. I'm doing a 6x8 bag, so mine will only hold 4 cards down. I won't be able to put 2 credit cards across in my 6x8 bag. They will not fit, so I'll just do 1 row for 4 cards. So my lining is supposed to be 9 by 7.5. I added 13 inches, so I now have a piece of lining ready, 9 by 20.5. I decided to add some fusible interfacing. See, I added it on the back of this bag, on the back of this lining. And I also cut some 1.5-inch strips of heat and bond. Okay, so I have all this stuff set aside. I have my templates. I have a 2-inch template. All it is cardstock folded in half, 2 inches. And another piece, 1.5 inches. Okay, so for my in the hoop bags, regardless of which one you're doing, you will take your first fold down 3.5 inches and iron it 3.5. I mark it, but you can't see it on black. So you have your fold at 3.5 inches. Okay. Yep. Now I'm going to take my 1.5-inch template, and I'm going to move this up a little bit for y'all. I'm going to put my 1.5-inch template there and fold this down. Okay. Folded it right to the edge of that. Now I'm going to iron it. Now I'm going to take my 2-inch template and line it right up with the top of this 1.5-inch one. And I'm going to flip this up and iron it. Okay. And I'm going to push out my 1.5 inch. I'm going to line it up with the bottom here. Pull this down. Iron it. Take my 2-inch. Line it up with the top of the 1.5 inch. Flip it up. Iron it. So on, so forth. Bottom one out, line it up with the bottom here, flip this down. Now the stabilizer and interfacing isn't necessary, that's only if you want it. I like the pockets to have a little more stability in them, so I add them. Okay, now we're going to line this up at the top, flip this up. Out and put this down. Oops, let's get this right. Okay, there we go. Okay, that would be my pocket number 4, I believe. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. Okay, so now I'm going to press this like this. I'm going to turn my steam off on my iron. Set it here and I'm going to flip it over, okay? Press it one more time. Now I'm going to take my heat and bond strips, wherever I did with them, and I'm going to slide my heat and bond strips right up under each one of these things, like so. Tuck one up in each little pocket there. Make sure you turn it over because you don't want to put them inside where your credit cards go, because you'd have a hard time putting them in. So I'll tuck those in like this. Okay. All tucked in, nice and neat. Okay, now I'm going to press it a little bit just to kind of get them to stay in place. All right, and I'll tear up my that. Ouch! Burn myself on the iron. Okay. Once again, as I said, this is, you don't have to do this. I just like to. Okay. Okay. Turn this over because I don't want any of the heat and bond that's sticking over to get stuck on my iron. Plus, once you have them under there, say it, you're going to lift the pockets and iron like this in between each little pocket. Whoops, see, I just got a stabilizer or heat and bond on my iron, darn it. Just like that, okay? There we go. So now, see, they're a little stiffer. The little pockets are, okay? Now, I'll turn it back over, and I will take my fusible stabilizer. Oh, must go like that. And I'll put it on the back here. I must not cut it exact. Turn it over and press this down. So I iron this all like this, and then you can go on the sewing machine and you can sew up the width of a credit card on either side, or you can leave it whole. I sew it so the cards don't slide too far back and forth. But then you just add this to your in the hoop bag as you need it. You know, when it calls for the last lining, this would go face down the same way you would do all the other linings on my bags. Okay, there you go. I just wanted to show you, I used white chalk to draw the lines where I will sew. I will sew my flaps, you know, so they stay tight.